Hi, this is our analysis of the book Into the Wild. This is Matthew Harvey.
This is Jackson Spencer.
This is Colin Kruger.
And I guess we'll just start off. How would you define the structure of the book from what you have read so far? And do you think it is effective or accessible to the reader? Start off, I think there's a lot of slang thrown around. I think it's just used as a form of relatability in order to just get people more comfortable with the book. So saying stuff like the people in the book say stuff like that, and
I think the first chapter serves as a really good setup to the rest of the story because it tells the story of what's his name, Galen, who meets Alex as what Alex is what he said his name was originally. We know that his name is not Alex, but Alex, chapter 1 sets up what his attitude was going into his journey into the wilderness.
yeah, I think that he kind of used the name as Alex as like, I don't know if I'm using this right, like an alibi or like a false identity. So people won't like recognize him. Like if a missing report is filed or something like that, that he won't really be directly identified.
Which obviously fell through when we know who he is now.
Yeah, when we find out who he is.
Yeah, that's why I was gonna say they like to use a fake identity throughout the first chapter, and then also, it's a good introduction to the story. And I thought they, I thought they have good like point of view switches between like the author and
Between the author.
John Coward, the guy who
Yeah, he's the main narrator. In the dialogue that they have in between each other with the truck, they throw around lots of slang, and it also helps represent the rebellious teen spirit that Alex, aka Christopher, is going through. Just exemplifying, he's like, oh, I'll be alright, and F the government, and oh, I haven't talked to my family in 2 years, and how he thinks that he can manage himself, but of course, later on we figure out that that's not really how it all went down. And that kind of leads on to number 2, define the rhetorical situation. It's 1992. It's in Alaska, and it's probably really forested because it explains the environment as they're driving around to their destination.
I think the location kind of relates to the story a little bit because they're in Alaska used to like reject society almost. Like they're kind of just loners.
Yes, and it's done that in order to, I think also it's done to bring up conflict because, of course, Alaska is a very cold place. And
it's probably the most difficult place to survive.
Yeah, especially out in the wild. And even the guy driving the car, he tells Alex that, like, oh, hey, winter is coming up, are you sure you'll be okay? And he points out other certain things that, like, he doesn't really have no supplies, he's only got, like, some rice with him, and then he's only got, like, I think it was a 22 caliber rifle, so he won't be able to take down any big game. He'll only be able to take down or injure smaller game.
Yeah, and that's definitely a major argument being made in the book, is that he shouldn't have been able to survive, and it makes sense that he didn't survive. I was interested to find that the narrator, the author, John Krakauer, believed that this is in the what is it called, the author's note, believed that Chris or Alex could have survived had everything went the way he had planned, and if it weren't for two mistakes that he made that seemed like small mistakes that seemed like mistakes that wouldn't have affected him that much that ended up having catastrophic effects on his life, obviously.
Similar to what you said, this book's pretty unique because a lot of books would probably make like the character miraculously survive, like in the Cold War.
Well, this is based on a true story, so
Yeah.
Yes.
And
also-
this doesn't.
I'm sorry, what?
No.
The next little part is if we trust our narrator. I guess we can just go around what y'all think if you trust the narrator. I didn't fully trust him because of the 2 words at the end, just 2 words at the end of chapter 1. He explained, and I don't know, maybe I'm blowing this all out of proportion, but it is kind of a stretch, but I feel like maybe he's explaining something to someone. Maybe he is being interrogated, and that's possibly by the police after finding this kid's dead body. Again, of course, that's a massive stretch, but just those words that he explained, maybe he's explaining it to someone to try to hold up his case if he's being interrogated by police.
Yeah, I'm kind of split on it because, like you said, there was like some interesting like terminology he used when talking about the story, but he also has like a good combination of interviews and like analysis and reflections from what he experienced, and it sounded pretty real. So,
yeah, I would say that he can be trusted because I know that the author, given the author's note and given what we learn in the following chapters of 2 and 3, that he's done a lot of research into what happened in the events. I know that he probably knows more about Chris McCandle. Chris, I keep calling him.
You can call him either because he's both technically.
Yeah.
Chris McCandless. I called him Candles. He knows probably more about what happened to Chris McCandless than anybody else because he's done the most research. But there's also the fact that he can't be 100% credible because he wasn't there. He's just an onlooker. He's looking back on what happened and trying to put the pieces together on his own.
Yes. Another thing I'm wondering is that if the author had some kind of connection to Chris or his family or the events of the situation could have impacted him somehow to influence him to write this book, and just how it interests him in general, if either he just picked this out of a hat and started writing about it, or it something somehow influenced him to write this. But anyway, who we think the intended audience is, and how do you know?
I think the intended audience might be people who are like intrigued by like adventure stories and stuff, and like people who will become like adventures of their own. I feel like that's what it's intended. But also like just like I guess just like searching for a meaning in life almost, because like they went to Alaska to like almost escape society.
Yeah.
I think as well as that, and this is also a stretch, but to serve as a sort of a reminder, one, to be prepared, and two, to a reminder that the wilderness it's tough. It's tough to survive alone, and you need to know what the risks are, and you never know what is going to happen. You can't always be 100% in control when you're putting your life at risk going and doing something like camping in Alaska with minimum
Yeah, if you're putting your life in nature's hands, there's never like a 100% chance it's gonna work out.
Yeah, it can be very unpredictable and random, and also that can kind of explain how he got injured. But also, there's a lot of stretches here, but I also think that it could be like a message towards younger teens or people to seek support from others, or just other people that they know of, so they don't end up like this kid who died in the middle of the woods, trying to be, confident. But that can also lead into question 6. What are some of the elements of writing that appeal to you? I really liked a lot of the slang that was thrown around at the start of just in the conversations between the driver and Alex.
Yeah, I enjoyed the lack of filter. And I feel like, at least in school, we read a lot of books that are filtered, that don't have swear words, that are I guess, tested to be in schools. But this, it really emphasizes the reality of survival. The fact that we throw around words like the F word, but that's probably not the worst word that's in this.
I liked the vivid,
All
vivid
questions.
descriptions
That's all my questions.
of the environments, and also like y'all said, the vivid wording and slang they use. So yeah, that's what I take away.
Yeah, it definitely ties that back up to create a sense of relatability that makes the reader more comfortable and just it makes the book more fun to read.
Okay.